Good morning. In this video, we're going to look at the last two examples of section 6.1. As with example 3, both of these examples have us building a table where the x along one side and the y's along the top are both input values. So we have a two-dimensional table for that. For problem 4, I want to produce a table that shows the mortgage on $100,000. I'm going to use the specialty payment command out of Excel. That if I look at the formula, the payment has the period rate of interest, the number of periods, and the principal. The period rate of interest is the annual rate of interest divided by 12 because we're going to do monthly payments. The number of periods is the number of years times 12 because we have 12 months in a year. And the detail is that the principal is going to be made negative because following good accounting procedures, Excel says if the principal is money that came in, the payment should be money that comes out. And so it's negative, but we find it convenient to have it, both of those numbers be positive. Notice that when I drag down, the annual interest rate has changed, but the number of years has stayed the same. And when I drag over, the number of years has changed. The interest rate has stayed the same, but the number of years has changed from B to C. So we now can unshow the formulas and build our table. And what we see is that if we had a $100,000 mortgage for 5 years at 3% interest, we would need to pay about $1,800 a month to pay it back. If we have that same 5 year and there's a 6% interest, our monthly payment has gone up to $1,933. If we have 30 years to pay it off, so we have 6 times as long to pay it off, we pay $421 a month. If the interest rate goes up to 6%, then we're paying off $599 a month. For example 5, we're doing a more complicated problem where we've looked at the amount of revenue that we get if we have one product. In this case, we're going to look at having 2 products. And so the price of the gizmos is 10 minus the quantity of gizmos over 50. The price of widgets is 20 minus the quantity of widgets over 40. We have a formula we can produce for the revenue from gizmos and the revenue for widgets. What we'd like is a formula that gives us revenue for both of those together. So our inputs will be the quantity of gizmos and the quantity of widgets, and we'd like to take both of those together and use that to make it our table. Again, looking at it, this is precisely the formula we had. We had 10 times the quantity of gizmos minus the quantity of gizmos squared over 50 plus 20 times the quantity of widgets minus the quantity of widgets squared divided by 40. I have quantity of gizmos running down, quantity of widgets moving across. The point is that I can drag down and drag across, and the quantity of gizmos will change as I drag down. The quantity of widgets will change as I drag across. I'm going to unshow the formula and produce a table like this. Produce a table. That gives me, I'd like to see a graph as well. And this is going to be somewhat different than when we did graphs of curves, because then we wanted to include the X and the Y. And this time you'll notice that I'm just highlighting the graph. I'd like to insert a chart, and the chart I want is a surface chart. I'm going to start with a wireframe surface. Notice I have the wireframe. It doesn't, however, give me the values on the side. If I try and do that, Excel will complain about it. It's going to treat everything I say as this is a value of Z given the X and the Y. I can similarly insert a chart And so besides the wireframe, the other would be a surface chart. So this has given me a surface chart to go along with my wireframe chart. Excel is not the best 3D grapher. So instead, what we want to look at when we're doing something with Excel and want to see a graph is we're going to go to Wolfram Alpha and tell it to plot the same function, giving it the G and W, and we see a nice wireframe from that. So this gives us a way of seeing a wireframe, which helps us see, is this a maximum or a minimum? Thank you.